on the 9th anniversary of GTA 5, which was yesterday, there was videos posted online that showcase a very early build of GTA 6 that clearly was not meant for the public to see. Now, the leaks themselves do not really give away that much information that we didn't know already. We already knew for many years now that GTA 6 is very likely going to take place in Vice City. However, it is still unprecedented for this information to be released, and more specifically, some of the source code that was posted of GTA 6. Now, Rockstar has a big week ahead of themselves because they need to decide how they're going to respond to this. Now, this is the first time in history that Rockstar has experienced a hack like this, so this is something new for them that they haven't really dealt with before. Now, there's been quite a bit of talk about the possibility of Rockstar canceling GTA 6 entirely. However, my personal prediction is that this was definitely not going to happen. While this leak is definitely not ideal, it by no means really shows the game in its entirety, and most importantly, a lot of the footage is so old and so outdated that when we see the final product, it's actually going to be incredible to compare this to the major improvements that will be made in the final release. So I personally predict that Rockstar will continue ahead with GTA 6 development, and I really hope they do because it would really suck for this to be cancelled all because of one bad actor. Now, the big problem for Rockstar is not really the videos that were leaked, but instead the code that was leaked for GTA 6. Now, I myself am by no means a coder, however, according to what I know, there was some code that was leaked of GTA 6, and this was the actual source code of the game. Now, this is an issue because it potentially opens up GTA 6 to hackers and other types of exploits that especially could affect GTA Online as well. It's also been rumored that the code is up for sale, and there's also been some reports that somebody bought it for $100,000, but then those were later denied, so nobody really knows what's going on at the moment. But what I think Rockstar's main priority is going to be this week is to figure out how much of the actual code was leaked and then decide whether it's important to go back and update all of that code or instead just move forward with what they have. Now, this decision is going to have a direct impact on the release timeline for GTA 6. If Rockstar thinks that they're fine and they should continue moving forward with how they've been doing, then it shouldn't really impact things too much. However, if they feel the need to go back into the source code and make some major changes, that is likely going to delay the release quite a bit. Now, in terms of the videos, Rockstar Games and their parent company Take-Two Interactive have already started issuing takedown notices and copyright claims on many videos being posted with these leaks, and I believe that this will continue throughout the coming week, and I gotta commend Rockstar for doing a very good job making sure that they are taking down this information, because after all, this really just ruins the game for everyone, and while the footage is outdated, a lot of people are getting the wrong idea that this is the final product of GTA 6, which is far from the truth.
So like in my previous video, I'm not going to be able to link to or showcase any of the footage I'm talking about, but it has been shared very widely online. Rockstar has acknowledged its existence as real, so I want to go ahead and dive into 50 things that I've noticed. At the number one spot, we've got our two main characters. We have our male protagonist, Jason, and we have our female protagonist, Lucia. The footage I've seen of Jason, he's a white male who wears kind of like a red backwards cap. Obviously, they're going to have multiple different outfits, and Lucia being a Latina female, we see her in a couple of different outfits, a pair of jeans, and even a dress. Now, one thing that's interesting is Jason, he seems to have a special ability in recognizing valuable loot. There's a scene where he's actually in a store and his ability was activated, and most of the screen became kind of desaturated, like black and white, but a lot of the items in the store were glowing. So I don't know if this gives us any details on Jason's background, that he's a thief from the past or has an eye for valuable loot. I'm kind of thinking like Nathan Drake, something along those lines, but those are our two main characters. They're almost certainly going to have unique abilities. Number two, it looks like the player is going to be able to carry guns on their backs. Just a little bit of speculation here. I wonder if that only means we get like 2 rifles, 2 pistols per person like in RDR2. However, it does look like each character has their own individual inventories, but also a shared inventory system too. So for example, when collecting loot, it said Jason assault rifle 1 times, and then it said shared rocket ammo times 5. So it looks like there will be individual inventory and shared inventory. It also looks like guns are no longer picked up automatically. There was text on the screen that says press X to pick up assault rifle. So it looks like some weapons are also supported by a strap on the player's back, indicating that you will be able to carry them. So that's kind of cool. It also seems like NPCs and players can hold their guns sideways. That'd be a new feature. In some clips, Jason was holding his rifle sideways and turning it in the air. There's also an NPC that shoots back at Jason. He's holding his pistol sideways. So this could be a cool feature. It also looks like the weapon wheel has been changed too, with more slots for different things like a duffel bag, medicine, a health kit, body armor. We've seen Rockstar try to make adjustments to the weapon wheel system in GTA Online. It wouldn't be surprising if we see sort of an overhaul when Grand Theft Auto 6 arrives. Gunshots seem to be way more realistic now, imitating sort of a forensic behavior where it'll move in like the opposite direction of the projectile like it would in reality. There's also new animations like going prone and characters bracing in shootouts, and even an animation called overdose. So I'm assuming that would be for various drugs and whatnot. There's also animations referencing horses and horse riding. This is one of the things that was cut from GTA 5, but obviously very predominant in Red Dead Redemption 2, so it wouldn't be shocking to see that be introduced into the game. The number 10 spot, there is a lot of enterable interiors that I've noticed so far. A lot with beautiful lighting, like the nightclubs. The minimap also adjusts when you enter in interiors. It looks like the normal minimap, but it shows the inside of the building, but yet still showing the roads outside. It's different than GTA 5, where it's just zoomed in on the interior. And there's also open interiors like the motel, metro station, restaurants, pawn shops. The idea of pawn shops is interesting because maybe we'll be able to sell stolen goods, supermarkets, and even references of functional elevators. We'll be talking about more of the locations and the map in a future video, but I wanted to talk about more of the features that I noticed in this one today. It seems like Rockstar are also bringing back a lot of features from RDR2. One of them is the ability to interact with NPCs. There's a menu like RDR2 that pops up and gives you the option to communicate. There's also something called VERT, which I think is short for virtue, which might kind of behave like the honor system in RDR2. So I like that. The dialogue system and the honor system, those were both great features of RDR2. Just like RDR2, it looks like you'll also have the ability to carry dead bodies on your back. This will just be a useful feature brought back over. And confirming one of the most reputable reports that we received just over a month ago, that the game is going to take place in Vice City and its surrounding areas, well, that is 100% true. We can not only see that in the gameplay footage itself, but we can also see that there are various police car indicators that say Vice City, various icons and decals with the city's logo, as well as things like in-game hospitals that have like Vice City written on them. So it is 100% going to take place in Vice City, or at least that's going to be the main location. And there's going to be surrounding areas and there's going to be other places for us to explore, but Vice City is going to be the main spot. But one thing I saw on the side on one of the police cars was Port Gellhorn. The only thing I could say this is going to be a parody of is maybe Port Canaveral. Remember that if this is based off of the state of Florida, with Vice City being based on Miami, then we're probably going to see some real life locations, popular destinations that you visited. So I'm thinking that Port Gellhorn is going to be Port Canaveral. There was also another sign that said North Beaches too. So obviously Vice City being very close to water, we know there's going to be a lot of beaches. There was also another body of water, Lake Leonida, and there's also another destination called Monument of Leonida. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that these names are definitely subject to change. In fact, names like this are pretty easy to adjust pretty late on in the development cycle, especially with the way Rockstar has done things in the past. We've seen that not only in GTA 5, but also in Red Dead Redemption 2, so don't be surprised if the names do change ever so slightly. Following that, there's 3 beaches that you'll recognize: Washington Beach, Ocean Beach, and South Beach. These are locations that you probably would have noticed if you played the original GTA Vice City or even the definitive edition of the game. Obviously, Vice City going to be very, very tropical in its setting. Another one that I think I saw was Ekon Finica, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, as well as Rockridge, Hamlet, Red Hill Forest, Yorktown, and the Bocamar Bridge. So I know we can't really start to get an idea of what the map is going to look like here, but you can tell just based off of some of those, there's obviously going to be beaches, there's going to be ports, there's going to be lakes, there's going to be forests, there's going to be all sorts of spanning bridges, and there's a handful of other different types of biomes that I think we're going to be getting to. For example, one of the locations is actually called the Grass Rivers. I can only assume that is Rockstar's parody of the Everglades, so we're going to get this sort of swampy area, which to me sounds really, really cool. So the Grass Rivers probably going to be a parody of the Everglades.